The anti-vaccination movement. You might be thinking,
What the hell is that?
distrust in vaccinations dates back to the late 1700s, and here are some reasons why people oppose vaccinations. Some cite religious and ethical reasons. Others say there isn't enough evidence showing we need vaccinations. There are also people who don't trust the pharma companies pushing for the vaccines, saying they just want profit. And then there are the side effects of the vaccinations due to the chemicals in them. A lot of anti-vaxxers believe some cases of autism in children can be linked back to vaccination. In fact, a 1998 research paper purported to show that vaccinations for measles, mumps and rubella were causing autism in some children. This research paper changed the way a lot of people perceive vaccinations, but it was retracted in 2010. Many parents hold reservations about vaccinating their kids because they still have doubts over its safety and necessity. Many scientists and vaccination supporters say those who choose not to vaccinate their children could cause a public health crisis, as several links have been made between disease outbreaks and the decline of vaccinations. The World Health Organization says vaccinations are one of the most cost-effective ways to avoid disease, and that it currently prevents 2 or 3 million deaths a year. So what do you think? Is vaccination necessary, or is it just a sham?
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? This forum is about to begin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening to all of you. We are gathering today to discuss about something has been widely talked about and become trend, which is anti-vaccine. So before we start our forum, allow me to introduce our panel today and myself. Me, Muhammad Imam Aziz, my matric number is A18A320, and panel 1 is Muhammad Shafiq bin Azman, A18A0311, and this is Muhammad Shahid bin Ma'ruf, A18A386. Before that, I would like to give you the definition of anti-vaccine, which is someone or organization who against the vaccines. This anti-vaccines movement has been started since 19th century. The impact of anti-vaccine thinking tended to oscillate over the time, declining in the 1940s, but then flourishing again in the 1970s. In the 19th century, there are some immunization campaign against smallpox, but then blocked by anti-vaccination movement, resulting in ongoing outbreaks and excess of preventable death. This also happens in Malaysia, such as some parents do not want to give their children vaccines. So our panel today will grasp these issues in greater depth. So, Mr. Shafiq, we already know that this topic has been widely discussed worldwide. So, on what perspective do you want to talk about?
Okay. Today I want to talk about vaccine issue and various factors that influence vaccination, and secondly, to understand the Islamic perspective on vaccination. I also will talk an Islamic perspective on vaccination was accepted using the primary sources related Quran verses and Hadith, as well as secondary sources fatwa in Islamic jurisprudence made by Islamic scholars.
It's good actually to talk about this because we rarely heard about this on religion perspective. Is that true, panel 2?
Yes, of course. This one of the forum or talk that I attend commonly. This topic has been taught on health perspective and public perspective.
Okay, these vaccines actually has several themes which can affect individuals in making decisions, such as safety and effectiveness issue, alternative medicine, civil liberties, conspiracy theories, morality, religion, ideology, misinformation, and falsehood and emotive appeals. According to Butler, the composition of vaccine opponents is rather diversified. They may be alternative medicine advocates such as herbalists and naturalists, conspiracy theorists, people with political agenda or belonging political agenda, communities or religion groups. So panel 2, can you explain a little bit on what is anti-vaccine actually?
Yes, of course. But before that, I would like to thank the moderator and Mr. Shafi. Vaccines are one of the most important measures of preventative medicine to protect the population from disease and infection. They have contributed to decreasing rate of common childhood disease and in some cases have even wiped out from this disease that were common in the past, such as smallpox, rabies, and have nearly eradicated malaria and polio. In fact, according to the World Health Organization Polio Global Education Initiative, the inactivated polio vaccine will be used as a backbone for eradicating poliovirus and the next decade.
Somehow I have to agree with you because these vaccines can prevent us from getting any diseases. Statistics have shown that individuals who don't get their vaccine are more likely to be infected by diseases than who get their vaccines. So panel 1, can you tell us what is actually vaccine itself and factors that influencing vaccination?
Okay. As we know, vaccination has become a victim of its own victory. Some individuals become complacent with disease-free environment that they mindlessly decide to ignore vaccination. It also will make slowly the number of people rejecting and hesitating vaccine increase. And with the social media advancement, anti-vaccination group found convenient in promoting their agenda. Okay. In Malaysia, we know that vaccination program may have different culture. This is because humans adjusted to their environment, and it's only natural that people can influence by social and cultural factors. I also want to talk to all audience about factors that may hamper the vaccination coverage. May include complexity in getting medical treatment, high medical costs, unavailability in transportation, status of education, parental awareness and knowledge. Also attitude and low family income. On my positive perspective, various factors are also involved in making vaccination programs successfully, such as the convenient site for vaccine delivery and reliable sources of information about vaccines. For example, health clinic personnel and community health. For other several measures that I want to say is about factor effective vaccination in the current context, whereby the internet search engine become the quick and convenient reference for people at large, and overwhelming information that and tips from the social media is shown that influence from parent and health personnel, such as lifestyle, socioeconomic status, religion and ethnic. Next is concern on the adverse or side effect of vaccine, and it also about safety issue.
Okay, thank you. I could not agree more with your opinion. Many cases of people who don't get their vaccines because of its highly cost, especially from rural area. They cannot afford to get vaccines from clinics or medical institutions to provide vaccine. Okay, so we have clearly understand about vaccine itself. So panel 2, can you explain on how this issue can happen?
Okay. Access to medical information online has dramatically changed the dynamic of the healthcare industry and patient-physician interaction. Medical knowledge that was previously bound to textbooks and journals or held primarily by medical personnel is now accessible to the layman, which has shifted the power from doctor as exclusive manager of patient care of the patient themselves. This has led to the recent establishment of shared decision making between patient and healthcare physician. While this is beneficial in some way, the dissemination of false and misleading information form of the internet can be also lead to negative confusion, such as parents not giving consent to having their children vaccine. When it's come vaccine, the false information is painful and easy to find. An analysis of video about immunization found that 32% oppose vaccine and has higher rating and more view the province video. Analysis of MySpace blog about HPV immunization found that 43% portrayed the immunization in negative light. The blog difference vaccine critical organization and cited inaccurate data. A similar study of Canadian internet used track of sharing of influenza vaccine information on social media networks such as Facebook, Twitter and YouTube.
It's true. Online is the easiest approach. They can connected by medical center and the patient. But it also led to the other disadvantages, which is patient tend to get wrong information. Parents who don't believe or mistrust the governments and doctors who consult about this. In these cases, the narrative altered by other parents from the internet, reporting several adverse events, influence, risk, perception despite concurrently presented. More reliable statistical information, but internet has also influenced more than reported, such as when they read in social media or forum. When personal narratives are used, narratives are powerful because they cause readers to feel threatened by vaccines. This automatically affects in decision making of parents. Parents must come and see the doctors to consult themselves about vaccination so that they can get real information about this vaccination benefits. The only reason why government obliging this vaccination to stop viruses from spreading to population. This also. So next we move to the next question. So Mr. Shafiq, as you said just now, you want to talk about Islamic perspective, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us what is Islamic perspective and issue in vaccination?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aiman. First, vaccination, which is an important intervention, is closely linked to Islamic virtuous legislation Maqasid al-Sharia, which states the preservation of life comes second after the preservation of deen religion. What I want to say is majority of Muslim scholars will agree vaccination is a deed for the Ummah Islam information for the well-being of the correlated welfare which Islamic concept al-Maqasid Sharia. Unfortunately, in recent years, vaccine rejection in the Islamic community in Malaysia has become issues that matter. This is said to be indirectly motivated by accepting false religious argument on vaccine status by several groups and individuals who have no inner profession, health or medical science. In Malaysia, the Islamic Medical Association in Malaysia, IMA, Imam, take a serious view of the rise of infection disease such as diphtheria, which is almost lost in our country. There are several hadiths which mention their important preventive measures against illness and such medical treatment in Islamic literature. Permission to get vaccine before start up of the epidemic is in compliance with Islamic principle which encourage one to maintain good health by take supplement as mentioned in the hadith state. Lastly, the Quran and the hadith are the two main reference sources for Muslim when to make the jurisdiction and the relevant fatwa contemporary issues.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nafi. Okay, now we have to come to the end of the forum. So the conclusion is, we must have knowledge on how vaccines work, as well as access to accurate information explaining the importance of the process so that we cannot be manipulated easily by the internet. We also must see this issue based on religious perspective also. We must look for our Holy Quran and Hadith from Prophet Muhammad SAW fatwa regarding this contemporary issue. In addition, opinions and jurisdictions made by renowned Muslim scholars are also referred to. In this current context, Muslim medical and health scientists must exercise critical analysis and demarcate the good from undesirables when it comes to the advancement in technology. Lastly, the importance factor that should be looked upon are the parental knowledge about the advantages of getting the children vaccinated and the decline in the prevalence and vaccines preventable diseases in the company. So, thank you.